Hello everyone! Some of you might or might not know that I am mixed French and Malagasy. Though I have never been to Madagascar, I know that just like here and many other places around the world, there are many tribes that rely on the ocean as their main source of income and food. However, as we all know it, the ocean is facing serious threats, and overfishing is one of them. Today, I am very happy to welcome a former village fisherman who changed his career path for a better environment. Happy New Year, and thank you for joining me, Michel StroGoff. Manaona tuko. I hope I said that correctly.
Salama Tupko. Happy New Year to you too, Julia.
Thank you. Let's start back in the day. You grew up in a small village called Andavadoaka on the southwest coast of Madagascar, where the Vezo tribe is settled. For those who don't know, Vezo are semi-nomadic people from the southwest of Madagascar who have a very strong relationship with the sea, physically of course, and spiritually too. Could you tell us a bit about what it's like to grow up so close to the ocean and depending on it so much? What was your relation like with the sea?
Thank you so much, Julia. I really appreciate the question. Growing up in the small village, as you say, in Andavadoaka, it's everything for me because there I learn, how to, survive. Learn how to survive is that mean I have a better experience about ocean. Ocean is everything for me. My generation, my ancestor, they are all the fishermen. Me next to the ocean, that was a blessing. My Vezu tribe is still inside me, and I'm still carrying on until whatever I go. So it's been everything for me, and also it's been tough for being in a small village, but for me I am proud to get who I am now and to get where I am at the moment.
I watched a documentary about Bejos, and they have such a beautiful relationship with the sea. They really do respect it, which is nice to see. So Bejos fish traditionally. They learn very early how to build their own pirogues. I even saw young kids carving pieces of wood to make amazing mini pirogues to play with them. And usually they use nets and harpoons to catch their prey. Do you have fish bombing or trawling?
In Madagascar, we don't do bomb fishing. We only use a net. We time to times there are like in the past people using a kind of like type of net where the trawler use, but we use like a different technique which we call like beach seining. We drag it all the way all the way to the beach, but as a conservation is very important, and also conserving our ocean is also very important for our new generation. So we abandon all of those those kind of type of freight and fishing gear to the ocean. Now a lot of majority of people using like a nylon net, which is a normal size to catching, like a size of a fish you're supposed to catch, but leave the small one to grow more. And as also my community has have learned how to conserve the ocean, and they have managed to make a local association called the Velunjiaki. So there is a lot of education about conservation. So majority of the people in the coastline, southwest coastline, where am I in my hometown, understand.
So you became a shark, ray, turtle, and sea cucumber, as you said, fisherman when you were 16, just like your ancestors. Was this what you had always envisioned yourself doing, or did it ever cross your mind a different career path?
It's a great question. Thank you, Julia. When I start do the most of the activity on this, and when I was 16 years old, I left the school in 2004 on joining my uncle for fishing a migration to look for a better place to catch more fish. It was as my ancestor, the old fisherman, of course, it's already my dream. One day I will become a fisherman. But as you also might know, Madagascar education is pretty poor. So as you are living right next to the ocean, if you don't really manage to get more education, high up, and your solution is have to be go to the ocean to be survive and also to make your living. So of course, for my career now, I didn't really dream to be here. I dreamed to be a fisherman.
So when you joined Blue Ventures, inspired by your brother, I suppose it was a wake-up call when you saw he was doing all these educational programs and such. How old were you, and was it an easy decision?
Always there is a difficulty when you make a decision, but I decided to sell it on my own gear so that people can listening more, because if I do the activity and he teaching other community, that people will reflect bad on him, because people can question him before you teaching us, please teach your own family. There is not an easy decision because I don't make income when I sold everything, but he also helped my family, helped the family. I am also his family. I'm the lucky one who got picked to join that scholarship with Blue Volunteers to learn about conservation. After when I sell my net, one of BV staff also tell me to join them, to work with them, also to learn how about diving, learning how about underwater life.
How did your family react when you decided to change your life path from this traditional, everyone did fishing in your village? How did they react? Were they proud, disappointed? Were they worried?
One in my mother's side, sea is not really appreciated from the beginning, but I'm growing up. I can make on myself decision also. She didn't really feel happy because I'm not providing anything, as we as Vezu, we relying each other. But once I get employed by Blue Volunteers, my mom also start because I am learning follow my brother's track. She's happy, but from the beginning is, as I'm saying, it's very hard, it's tough decision to make, and many people don't accept it as you don't make any income, but everything is have a reason when you make a decision.
So you started scuba diving, as you said, at Blue Ventures through their scholarship training to become a dive professional. Do you remember your very first breath underwater and how it felt?
First time when I was diving with a scuba diving, I was a little bit nervous, but also in other hand, I was really happy because in my mind, I can be, stay in the water, breathing in the water, look things, face to face, everything in the water, rather than, goes down and go back on the surface, catching a breath again. But it was, for me, the best things I have done in my life when I start scuba diving.
So you went all the way on to becoming a PADI assistant dive instructor. So I'm guessing you really enjoyed it, as you said, to keep going that far. How did scuba diving change your relation with the ocean?
Scuba diving is definitely changed everything for me, because I see in the real life how how things work as ecosystem and the water life. When I out of the sea, I am a normal human, but when I am in the water, I am a part of the system, because I can live with them. Even I breathe a different way, not the way a fish and other animal breathe underwater. So you are part of the underwater life system. So for me, it definitely completely changed my life.
So in Bezo culture, the ocean has one main god and lots of other spirits watching over the ocean. So how did you deal between your very traditional roots and beliefs about the ocean and the science you learned later on?
It's very hard to deal with local people who actually don't have a education background like myself when I from started. I'll give you another example. My mother, she is a sea turtle butcher, also a collector, as a selling raw meat cooked meat of sea turtles to local community. To teaching to tell my mom to to leave the activity, protect the tortoise. It was fight. I have never seen my mom being angry like that to me and to my old brother, for telling her, this activity is, giving, food in our plate, but it's not a good into our environment, also to an ocean ecosystem. It definitely is hard decision to make, and you have to be convincing them. But some people, like, there are understand also as they see the result. Some people start, like, understand how, this can, changing our life. But some other people are, if there is a positive, there are also negative people, like, but definitely is, like, fight. As I also give you an example to my and from my family, it's, from other people, definitely it's a battle.
So in an important date in 2014, you meet Chris Scarf, who is filming a TV series, and you two soon became good friends to the point that 5 years later, you created Madagascar Film and Photography. Filming and photography were a new experience for you, I assume. So do you have a preference between these two forms of art?
Photographer and also filmmaker is one key for me to put my own message to all people in my country, to understand, to open their eyes, to fight their own rights for their own for their own water, so that we can, also live normal. Because those industrial fishing, they are not, providing food for us. Everything they caught is go into their own country, goes to Asia, goes to Singapore, goes to Europe and stuff like that. But they are fishing in my own water, but we don't really get anything from them. I don't know if the government get everything from them, but my own self or my own community don't get a benefit from them. So this one of reason that I enjoy, photographer and filmmaker, because I can put my voice in the picture that I took and also the documents that I take. So I can be the voice on my own community and to fight our right for our own water.
So you are a fast learner, I believe, since I know you already won several awards as a photographer and even have been judging photo competitions. What are you personally looking for in a good photo?
For me, I want to be a storyteller. So for me, the angle that I only every time that I take photos, I'm taking photos to, like, to tell a story. Like, I'll say there's a few photos on our website who majority of them is, like, wildlife, also about, like, how people, like, use the ocean, like telling the story, like, conservation way, to open people's eyes and look behind, like, not only today, but look the day after, look, for our new generation. Every time that I took photos, there is always meaning of the photos. That's the angle, about education way, also to give, local people the right path to understand about ecosystem, also to understand about, the environment majority, even in the land, or even, like, underwater stuff, even also in a life in general, how we can survive and how we can preserve our environment for a long term, not only today.
Yeah, and as they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So it's definitely a good way to tell a story. What's your favorite subject to photograph? Is it wildlife, humans, scenery?
One the most that I am enjoyed with is, filming whale shark, because when I was younger, when I was, fisherman, we afraid big animal, especially whale shark. When we rowing, boat, the whale shark follow the boat, and we broke our paddle and paddling and stay away from it because we thought the whale shark is eating us and also can damage our boat. So the most animal that I enjoy the most is the whale shark, filming a whale shark, because there are very gentle, large creatures that you can, swim. Also, they don't do anything to you, especially sea turtles don't do anything to you either. Those are the most things that I am really fascinated with the most. Also, in community wise, I really like also filming old people, like for because they have a lot of history from with them, and faces also can tell a story.
Wow, and I saw your photos on your some of the photos that you did on your website, and they are so beautiful. And yes, whale sharks. I have yet to dive with whale sharks. Still have never seen a whale shark while diving, so that's another thing that's on my bucket list. So through MFP, you document the several different wildlife trades in hopes to raise awareness about the different causes. I can't help wondering, especially when you're filming in Madagascar, how do you feel towards these people who are compatriots, knowing better than anyone else their struggles? And how do they feel seeing you behind the cameras?
For me, everything that I do now, I'm behind the camera because I want to help you, to help my family, to help some other people, and also to help the people in the coastline to understand how to be sustainable. Also, I always tell them, like, education is only one weapon if you want to live out of your poverty. People understand me very well, but because I grew there and I learned everything there, I have also worked with them. So for me, I'm kind of like one of their model, to bring the change, also to express also myself, for as a visual a community, to bring their voices and also to bring a report back to them. So this is a good and this is a bad, and this what I have been found out since when I travel. We should do this one. This is will be better to support ourselves, to support our new generation, also to support our ocean for a long term. But here in where I live in Nosibe, a lot of people here is well educated, as tourism also big things here. Everyone is relying on tourism. So every time, even there, as I said, there is an positive and there are also negative. But I'll say, as people here seeing a foreigner coming very often to the area, they don't really question me a lot. But when I bring my own background, my story background, they always are like, wow, that's very interesting. So if I can do that, how come you don't?
So tell us a bit more about the film you made in partnership with Daughters of the Deep, which is an Australian charity organization to help women get into marine careers through education, and the Madagascar Research and Conservation Institute. What was it about and what was the goal?
So girls majority in my country is facing a lot of discrimination. Like people use them for like baby maker, looking after house, don't have like a lot of opportunity. So this is one of the biggest decision that I joined Door of the Deeper and filming for the document for them, so people can see and support the girls to have better education. All the tradition doesn't really give a power to the woman. Only as the woman is, we call it a fanakamalemi. It means you can't do what man do, but that is wrong message. All human is equal. So equal right, equal opportunity.
Finally, before we go, are there any exciting projects for this year that you can share with us?
So This year, me and Chris Scarf is looking for a to do um, expedition. Around the country filming. We want um, to make a series every issues, how to address it, and also have to make a small documentary on every subject, so to teach the community majority of the goal, and they can understand what is what is good for our environment, what is bad for the environment, what should we do to provide a better life and something like that. So we don't really know yet when it started because it's COVID, and also for some other people are in here in the country doesn't really know what is the other side of the country. The majority of the visual are understands, oh, we are here, goes to the ocean, but there are also other resources that we can live, have a better life, and not only for the ocean. And also that the same thing, for the people who actually living in the forest, relying in the forest, how not to destroy it in forest, how to preserve it, for the new generation, because we are all relying in the forest. As you know, climate change is a very biggest threat to our to our planet. So this is one of the things that we want to address into this expedition, but everything is depends, money also depends on the time.
Well, thank you so much for joining me, Michael. It is truly inspiring to hear now you were able to go from being part of the problem to being part of the solution. I hope that one day I will be able to visit you in Madagascar and see your work firsthand. I will definitely give you a call then, and if you're looking for someone to carry the lights or anything, I am up for it. But for now, Sotra Bestaka Velumatuko, Michael.
Veluma Chikayabi.
Thank you for watching today's interview. It's no secret that the ocean supports millions of people from around the world, and the ones who rely on it the most are the ones who are going to be most affected by its damaged ecosystems. It's up to everyone to change something in their lives in order to help our blue planet. And Michael is a great inspirational example of how to do that. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye.
Before I was born, my people would say, "Go out with a boat, and you will come back with a boat full of fish. Go to the reef, and you will find all of the octopus you need." We are the Vezo from Madagascar, and our name means to live with the sea. We believe that all things from the sea are inherited from our ancestors, and that we must use them wisely. But when I was born, the fish and octopus were disappearing. Our village and the other villages were getting bigger. Families were having many children. We kept taking from the sea, and so we could no longer feed all of us. My father was scared that we wouldn't have enough to eat. He and the other fishermen got desperate. They fished with poison and killed sharks. We were one of the reasons our sea was dying. But then, scientists heard about our problems and came to help. We learned how to protect our fishing grounds from overfishing. For the octopus, we now close off areas for a season so they can come back. And then we have a bigger catch. We also learned how to plant seaweed that we can sell. This gives us another way to feed ourselves. And it helps us to protect our fishing areas. Little by little, the fish and octopus are coming back. The sea is coming alive again. When we are born, we give the ocean our baby hair and umbilical cord. We are the vessel for Madagascar, and we must never forget. Our name means to live with the sea.